This is a guy called Stephen Wiltshire. Became very well known. He's what they call an autistic savant. They find it very difficult often to interact with this world, but they have brilliant gifts. And he became well known because the BBC flew him up into a helicopter over London for something like 30 minutes without a notepad, or not that it would bloody helped. And he just looked out the window, and he came back and he drew London from the air with incredible accuracy, even getting the number of windows in major buildings correct. And this is another autistic savant called Daniel Tomet, and he's got a computer-like way of filtering and decoding numbers, and also learns languages in a ridiculously short time, including amazingly difficult languages like Icelandic. He went on to an Icelandic television program 1 week and was challenged to come back the following week speaking fluent Icelandic, and he did it. And his language teacher said, "This man's not human." Oh, yes, he is. He's the human that we should be if this control system was not suppressing us as it is. And so what the left side of the brain would do is go, Sam, team, that's right. What the right side of the brain does, which is where these are coming from massively, it goes, gotcha. When Stephen Wiltshire is looking out the helicopter, he's not going, oh, that's got one bit, hold it, one window, no. His right side of his brain is going, gotcha. The lot, picture. That's who we really are, and they are expressing fantastic gifts to give us a reminder of who we really are. They are capturing or accessing deeper levels of infinite potential, which people are not doing when they're held in the five senses. And people say, well, you left school at 15, and you didn't even pass your 11 plus. You went to Crown Hill Secondary Modern. You weren't very good there either. Well, they know what they're talking about. Why don't they tell us? Well, I'll tell you why they don't tell us, because they don't bloody know half the time, because the funding and the structure of science make sure they don't know. And singing from the song sheet to maintain your credibility within mainstream science makes sure they don't know. But also, the disciplines of science are looking at dots. This is my discipline. This is my discipline. And they fight for funding and prestige. They don't bloody talk to each other half the time. They don't connect dots. They're just focused on one dot. And if you look at the world like that, how the hell are you going to connect the dots to see how the world picture is put together? You're not. We worship the intellect. Boom, boom. Have you noticed? Not by accident. They're putting kids through what you might call academic-type subjects, boom, left brain, earlier and earlier. You know why? Because letting kids play and play and play is ad-lib, it's creative, it's imagination. Boom, boom, boom. They don't want that. They want them in here as early as possible. Kids shouldn't be going to bloody school at that age. They should be playing the wonder of the bloody world. Compared with consciousness, compared with the heart innate intelligence, this is the village bloody idiot, but we worship it. This is the isolated intellect. That's why the world's bloody mad. This is what the isolated intellect does. It puts you in these minute little bubbles of awareness, consciousness or mind, all that is or little me. Free yourself, not just free your mind, free ourselves from mind and the diktats of mind. Blank sheet of paper. Okay, from this moment, all my preconceived idea got to earn its place on this piece of paper by information, evidence, insight. I'm not going to put anything on this paper because you, mother, father, you teacher, you scientist, you politician, you bloody journalist have told me I should. I'm deciding what goes on my piece of paper because I am a unique expression of all that is. And I'm not you, I am me. Open your mind, open your heart, get into this in a big way later. And when you open your heart and you open your mind, you access the universal field beyond the illusion, and bingo, massive insights and understandings come pouring in. Not because you're a chosen one, not because you're special, not because you are Jesus who's come to save the world. but because you just opened yourself to that which is available to anyone who wants to open themselves to it. All possibility, infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. And this fork on the road, are we going to go with the head, which has got us into this bloody mess, or are we going to go with the heart, which takes another look at everything? Or even better, are we going to bring them together so they work as one unit in unison and we get the best of both? Consciousness or clones, that's the fork on the road. And when we open ourselves to the greater awareness, we start to hear and dance to the music of the universe that is screaming at us, listen, dance. I can't hear, I can't dance, I've got to go to work, I've got to go to school. And John Milton said, those who danced were thought to be quite insane by those who could not hear the music. Those who are closed to the music, oh my God, it's so sad. They think you're crazy because you can hear what they can't hear, and thus you see and experience and behave in ways that they cannot understand. It's not that one is right or wrong, it's that one is coming from a different sense of reality. William Blake, if the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would be appear to man as it is, infinite. The conspiracy wants to make sure those doors to perception are never cleansed. And they do it through manipulation of our perceptions, through words, through religion, through education, through food additives that distort the brain and rewire it. And George Carlin, the great George Carlin, American comedian, he said, they don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interests. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 years ago. That's what they don't want. And what, as I come to the end of this first part, what we have been subjected to, not just these generations, but for generations untold, is a gigantic hoax. A hoax that has sold us a fake reality, a fake version of how we should live our lives, and thus they have enslaved infinite awareness in a perception of little me. And here's a short video. It is absolutely brilliant, and it encapsulates the point I'm making here. This is fantastic.
In music, one doesn't make the end of a composition the point of the composition. If that were so, the best conductors would be those who play classes. And there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to concerts just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. But we don't see that as something brought by our education into our everyday conduct. We've got a system of schooling which gives a completely different impression. It's all graded. And what we do is we put the child into the corridor of this grade system with a kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten, you know. And that's a great thing because when you finish that, you get into first grade.
Whoa!
And then, come on, first grade leads to second grade and so on. And then you get out of grade school, you go to high school. And it's revving up, the thing is coming. Then you're going to go to college. And by Jove, then you get into graduate school. And when you're through with graduate school, you go out to join the world. And then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance. And they've got that quota to make. And you're going to make that. And all the time, the thing is coming. It's coming. It's coming. That great thing, the success you're working for. Then when you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different from what you always felt. And there's a slight letdown because you feel there's a hoax. And there was a hoax. A dreadful hoax. They made you miss everything. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end, success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played.
Exactly. That is so brilliant. That's so brilliant. So, we're back to the little question. Why? Why is it like that? Why is the hoax? Who's behind the hoax? It's a multi-level conspiracy. Who is controlling our sense of reality? Well, the rabbit hole goes so deep in answering that question. And in part two, when we've had a break for an hour for some lunch, and we'll be back absolutely on an hour, because I've got so much to get through today, I will be going, in my experience anyway, deeper in the rabbit hole than has gone before in seeing where this is all coming from. And that's the end of part one. See you in an hour. Thank you very much. Thank you.